Hi everyone, it is a rainy weekend here in Iowa, so what do you do when you can't be out and enjoying what's going on outside? Well, maybe it's time to take care of a little Tesla maintenance, and I'm going to rotate my tires. Now, I know you can have other people do this, you can have Tesla do this, but it will often cost you money, and you have to go some places. And you're supposed to rotate your tires every 5,000 miles, and I'll be the first to admit that I'm not very good at that, but if you're willing to invest in a little bit of hardware, you can do this yourself really easily. And in 2 or 3 rotations, you're going to completely pay for all of the tools that you need. Now, in a recent update from Tesla, it actually tells you when you should rotate your tires. You can go to the car icon, select service, and at the top right-hand corner there, you see tire service mileage. And you can see in my case, it says I needed to do it approximately 9,500 miles ago. Oops. Well, the best time to do it was 9,500 miles ago, and the second best time to do it is right now, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to walk you through the process, what you need to get the job done, how to do it safely, and hopefully this will show you what you need to do to handle a tire rotation yourself in your Model 3 or your Model Y. Let's get to it. Okay, before we jump into let's go over all of the hardware that you need in order to do this yourself. And this is pretty much it. I'm taking a very minimalist approach to this. You can use power tools, breaker bars, other tools, but I want to show you what the bare minimum is to rotate your tires on a Tesla. And the first thing you're going to need, which is probably your largest investment, is a good low-profile floor jack. You need at least 2.5 tons to lift your Tesla Model 3 or Model Y. I have a 3-ton floor jack here. The second thing you're going to need are lifting pucks. What are lifting pucks? Well, lifting pucks are these things right here. Every Tesla 3 and Model Y has lifting locations. They're small holes, and the Tesla recommends that you use these rubber pucks. They're pretty cheap. Now, I'll leave links to similar products in the description below, but these will insert underneath your car, which I'll show you in just a second. And the floor jack lifts up on the lifting pucks. There's not a lot of clearance with the cars, so that's why you need a low profile jack. The next thing you're gonna need is a torque wrench, a simple torque wrench that can go up to at least 130 foot-pounds of torque, and a 21 millimeter socket to tighten and loosen your lug nuts. The last thing you're probably gonna want are these gloves. You will need to protect your hands, be safe. That's pretty much it. You might be asking, how can we get this done with one floor jack? Well, in a Tesla Model 3 and Model Y, you actually can, because the bottom of the Tesla is rigid enough because of the battery. You can safely lift both the front and back wheels of your car from the front lifting location and do the rotation with just a single jack. And I'll show you how to get that done. Okay, the very first thing you want to do is you want to take one of your jack pads. Usually comes with a set of 4, but frankly, you only need one in order to get this done at a time. You want to locate the lifting lug underneath the battery area, and there's actually going to be a hole about this size that you can go ahead and insert the puck. And it's pretty easy to find. Just put it in there, there's an O-ring, push it up, it will hold itself in place. All right, let's go ahead and get our jack positioned. We want to make sure we get it centered right underneath that puck. I just got the lifting started, and we don't want to lift it all the way up because you need to loosen the lug nuts first, because once the wheels are off the ground, it's going to make that a lot harder. So let's go ahead and do that. Make sure you do the back too. Okay, let's jack it up. Front wheel's all the way off the ground, but you'll notice the back wheel is not. Just keep on jacking. Okay, both wheels are completely off the ground, which means we can loosen our lug nuts, get the tires swapped. All right, I'm going to take a moment and stop the video right here and talk about safety. You're going to see that I've raised this car and I'm supporting this car by a single floor jack. And some of you may have a big problem with that. For those of you not familiar with Teslas, they only have one lifting point on each wheel. So it is nearly impossible, unless you're spending lots of money on specialized jack stands and jacks, to lift and support from the same position. So you're pretty much going to have to use a jack. But if you want to have a little bit of extra added safety, you can use a jack stand, but you don't want to use a jack stand without a jack puck. And they actually have a rubber puck here that is designed to go on top of a jack stand that you can, if you want, and I'll show you, position this under a lifting point And then let's slightly lower it back down. So now I'm supporting the car both from the front and the back, the front with the jack, the back with the jack stand. The other thing that you want to make sure from a safety perspective is that you don't work underneath the car. Finally, I will say that this is exactly the method that the mobile service uses from Tesla. They don't use a jack stand. They just use a single jack, like I'm going to show you in the rest of this video, to swap things in and out. Depending on your comfort level, this can be done and is easily done. But if this isn't comfortable for you, leave it up to the professionals. Now with that, let's get back to the video. All right, let's just reverse the process. Put the tires on. Make sure that you check to make sure that your tires aren't specific rotation. And these are not the original tires. These are Michelin Cross Climate 2 tires. All seasons. Had them probably for about 6 months now. These things are awesome if you ever need to replace your tires at some point. But make sure that there isn't a rotation location on here. Some tires do. This tire does not. I'm also rotating them to the same side, so it's pretty well assured that it's going to be working properly. But if they do, make sure you keep that in mind. So let's just go ahead and get this up here. Now before we lower the car down, we just want to get a little bit of snugness on these lug nuts. Make sure you go in a star pattern. That allows them to tighten evenly. You'll see you get certain tightness, the wheel's just going to spin. Do the same on the back. Next, I'm going to lower the car just enough so the rear wheels come in contact. Just like that. And we're going to go ahead and use the torque wrench to 127 foot-pounds of torque. Make sure all the lug nuts are tightened on the back. Then we'll do the same on the front, and then this side will be done. Don't forget your jack pad. All right, there you go. That's what it takes to rotate your Tesla Model 3 or Model Y tires front to back. It's really not that hard. With a little bit of investment in some hardware and a little bit of elbow grease, you can certainly get the job done yourself. And after about 2 to 3 tire rotations, your hardware investment is 100% paid for. And oh yeah, don't forget to go back into that service menu and reset your tire rotation odometer so it can warn you in 5,000 miles to do this all again. And hopefully, I'll remember to do it that time. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next video.